Okay, the background. Let's create a gradient. We'll click here on the gradient tool. Click here to open up the gradient editor. And we'll click there. And I want to get this color over here, so on the poster. So I'm going to click out here. I'm going to keep holding my mouse button till I get right there. Then I think I'll add another stop right here, and I'll do the same thing and come in there. That looks about right. So I'll click OK. But what I want is this one. Let me show you what it does. Well, we went the wrong direction, but we'll reverse that, and we'll start right about here and go up like so. So there's our background. Okay, let's work on the tree. Here's my image. I'm going to pull it into Photoshop and open up the image. And now we need to make a decision here of where we get the most contrast. And this is a pretty hard one. So I think what we'll need to do is a calculations command. So we can take one channel and mess around with it with another channel. That's looking a little bit better. Let's click OK. And it's created an alpha channel for me. And if I increase the contrast of that just a little bit, that works even better. I need to paint the trunk white. And there's a lot of different ways we could do that. We could use the pen tool and outline it. We could use our paintbrush and paint. It doesn't really matter. The object being is that we just need to turn those branches white. So I think I'll come here on the alpha channel, and let's see, I'm in overlay mode, need to be in normal mode, and get a harder brush. I'm holding my shift key down, so every time I click, it draws a straight line. Now once we're up into the leaves, it doesn't really matter because we want all that stuff. Like anyway. So all right, so I have the branches of the tree. Now I'll get my brush back in overlay mode, and with black paint, and we'll get the rest of it. There's the mask right there. So if I switch back on, well, let's command click on that, make that a selection, switch back into RGB mode, come over to the layers and we'll add a mask. So there's our tree. Now we need to take the tree over into our design, our poster, and so I'm going to grab my move tool and click and drag up to the poster one and drop the tree right there. All right. Now, it looks pretty good. I may make it just a little bit bigger. So Command T for a free transform. Let's pull it up just a little bit and put it about right there. Let's make a copy of this layer, Command J, and we'll Command click on the mask and we'll fill it with black. There we go. And then we're going to transform that and set it behind the tree and reduce its opacity just a little bit, and we'll put it into multiply. And then on our mask, let's Command click on that and get our gradient tool right there, and we'll go from black to white. And we know that white is going to let it show and black is going to fade it. So what I want to do is to start right here, and I think I'll flatten that just a little bit more. So there's our shadow. Trying to get that to look just right, but that's basically it. I think I'll pull the shadow in just a little bit more. I'm holding my Option key down so it comes in on both sides. Move tool, make sure that lines up. Okay, let's do the text. I'm going to use Times New Roman bold. Grab my text tool and we'll do centered text. And I'll click right there, and I'm going to increase the size, about 85 points. And what I want to do is I want to get a tree color here. All right. I want to decrease the space between Smithfield and the tree days, so I'm going to go into the window, get my character, and I'm going to adjust the leading. So it's about right there. And I think I'll make Smithfield just a little bit bigger. And here we go. All right, so come into my 3D. We're going to do a 3D extrusion from the selected layer. We'll go into the 3D workspace. There we go. And we will go ahead and we'll render that. Let it render for about as long as you need to get a good thing, but don't take like the whole hour it would take to fully render it. Remember that you can take your marquee tool and surround just the words themselves and render just that section of it. So now I'm going to click on that layer and I'm going to convert it into a smart object. And as a smart object, we can transform it. So I can push it up like that a little bit. And use my move tool to get it about where I want it to go. So now it's just a matter of adding the text to the bottom. I want the burn tool. And I'm just going to make that just a touch darker across the bottom, and then I'll put in my other text. Okay, final thing I want to do is to make sure everything is centered. I've added the text down here. So I'm going to do a Command A, which will select the entire 8.5 by 11 poster. And then I'm going to take and select the layers that I want to be centered, and we'll just make sure that they are centered there. And if it doesn't look quite right, we can physically move any of them. So I'm going to drop the selection. I think I'll take the Smithfield Tree Days and maybe just stretch it out just a touch. I'm going to turn snap off so it's not. There we go. Okay, one last thing. I need to do a little bit of cleanup work on the mask here. So I'm going to grab my white brush and we'll change from overlay mode to normal mode. And I'm going to make a big soft brush and pull in some of these and just pull in some of the branches that have disappeared because they were black. Then I'm going to switch over to black paint. Hard-edged brush. And just clean up a couple of the edges on the tree here. Here, that's the beauty of a mask, isn't it? Okay. Let's take a look at it overall. Hide the extras. Hit the F key a couple of times. Hide the rulers. Okay, that's looking good.